Hello and welcome to Perry Pencil. To all newcomers, subscribe now and be alerted whenever I upload a new video. Hello, I'm Perry Pencil. For those of you who are already subscribed to this channel, well, welcome back. For those of you who are new to this channel, simply welcome. You are always welcome here, and hopefully and eventually you'll become a part of the Perry Pencil community. This video style allows me to express art in two different ways. The first element is me drawing either a character I choose or a character of your choice that is made in the comment section. The second element is me talking about the character, expressing my feelings about the character, and revealing some things you may or may not know. Now, I'm extremely excited about this introduction. Are there any boxing fans watching this video? If not, that's perfectly fine because this Titan is far more than just a boxer. It's time to watch me draw and talk about Mike Tyson. Now, every great warrior has an origin. When I think about Mike Tyson's humble beginning as a boxer, in my mind I immediately go to the fictitious Rocky Balboa story. Interestingly enough, I looked at Rocky's trainer Mickey and Mike Tyson's trainer Cus D'Amato and found an outstanding mirror image of Mike and Rocky being trained by great tactician masterminds. The difference is Mike not being a myth. Before Mike would become the youngest heavyweight champion in the history of boxing, one would think he was forged by the gods. Much like Zeus begat Hercules, Odin begat Thor, Cus D'Amato begat Iron Mike Tyson. His name would become renowned globally. The 80s. So the year is 1987. That would have put me around the age of 12 years old when Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was released. Every video gamer, including myself, was up for the challenge. By this time, in reality, Mike Tyson was simply unbeatable. However, this game gave the world hope. The question was, who could beat Mike Tyson in the video game? Well, after using the cheat code 1,000 times and learning the game's pattern, I finally defeated Mike Tyson. After 3 days without sleep and determination, I was the only one from my neighborhood at the time to do it. Honestly, just being able to say that I beat Mike Tyson in the Nintendo game was enough for me at the time. Yay, I won! Now this brings me to my fun fact. Mike Tyson was surprised on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon and was challenged to see if he'd be able to defeat himself. Mike was a good sport, and unfortunately he lost to himself. Jimmy let Mike know that it was a win-win for him because technically even playing himself, he kind of cancels himself out because it's technically the same person, which he kind of gave him an out, and it was kind of cool to hear him say that and give Mike an out. I have to say, this is a very cool video to take a look at, so if you get some time on YouTube, definitely look up Mike Tyson challenges and fights himself on a Nintendo game. Super Street Fighter was released in 1993, which puts me around the age 16. Nintendo was out, and comes Super Nintendo. The Capcom video game developers wanted a Mike Tyson for themselves. There was some confusion with the archetype of Mike Tyson. In America, the Street Fighter character name is Balrog. In Japan, his name is M. Bison, which rhymes with M. Tyson. Get it? I was very confused, but it's obvious. They didn't want any legal issues. So what they did they took Mike Tyson's character's name and changed it to Balrog. They just switched the character names. And Balrog was changed to M. Bison. Finally, Balrog / M. Bison is my #1 playable character to use on Super Street Fighter, even until this day. This leads me to my final choice for Mike Tyson's likeness in popular culture is TJ Combo from Killer Instinct Gold, sometimes called KI Gold, was released in 1996, the same year of Super Street Fighter. And KI Xbox One released in 2016, that's the most recent version of Killer Instinct. This Mike Tyson clone has the body type of Mike Tyson, along with the character's movements, speed, and punching power. The character was upgraded in Killer Instinct Xbox One to separate the similarities between the character from the game and Mike Tyson. I couldn't wait to get to this portion of the video. So one day I'm surfing through YouTube and come across an interview featuring the legendary rapper Fat Joe. During the interview, he brings up this story about how one day Mike Tyson saved him and Big Pun's life. Before I get deeper into the story, I just want to let y'all know my thoughts though. Whenever I see the rapper Fat Joe, he reminds me of the character Kingpin from the Spider-Man storyline in Marvel Comics. Here's a side-by-side picture if you think I'm making that up. See, I told you. Now back to the story. For me, both rappers are extremely intimidating in size, both Fat Joe and Big Pun. So when I heard this, I was immediately intrigued when I heard this and had to listen. No one can tell a story with so much hype and enthusiasm like Joe. He explains that him and Big Pun were walking through a tunnel when security requested that both rappers remove their shoes. That's when things begin to escalate quickly. Big Pun refused to remove his shoes. You can understand, if you really think about it, he's probably not going to want to sit there and take the time out and do that, so I can understand that. There were several security guys who were described as being the size of the world's strongest men competitors. Real gigantic guys. Muscle bound, lifting weights, that type of security, not the type of security you normally see in a local 7-Eleven. Joe goes on to explain the amount of security number jumped from 1 to 10 and a few words that was exchanged between him and the rapper. Big Pun tried to suggest going back to the vehicles to get some heat, but they both realized they wouldn't be able to make it back to the vehicle in time. At this point, Fat Joe was willing to take the L. Why? Because they were just outnumbered, and like I said before, they were like world's strongest men competitors. This is where the story takes a turn into almost what I call a surreal situation that you don't see happen every day. Out of nowhere, a distinctive voice can be heard shouting, "Let's get those guys. Let's destroy those guys." You know, I had to do the edited version, right? For YouTube purposes. And back to the story. So that voice would be none other than Iron Mike Tyson. Now I'm going to take a moment to ask, do you think Mike was armed with some type of weapon, maybe a gun, a Uzi, to take on these 10 guys that's with the world's strongest men competitors? Do you think he came with a knife or a machete like Jason or anything like that? We all know the answer to that. The answer is no. And that's because Mike alone is a weapon. In this instance, I imagine Fat Joe and Pun seeing Mike Tyson as Val-Zod. Now I know most of you are thinking, who in the world is Val-Zod? For those of you that know me, know I'm a huge comic book geek. Val-Zod is the African American version of Superman. So if you know the most popular iconic character Superman, then you understand that it's just the African American version of that. So that's what I'm liking Mike being in this situation at this point, is coming in as a savior or like a superhero. While listening to Joe's sigh of relief, I can hear his respect and homage given to whom he recognized as a real-life superhero. Then the story takes a comedic twist. The huge hulking world's strongest man is now retreating around the car while he pleads with Joe and Pun to call off Mike Tyson. If any of you are interested in seeing this actual interview, I highly recommend it. You'll get a kick out of Joe's energy while telling his personal classic Mike Tyson story. I want to address Mike Tyson's mastery when it comes to his speed, agility, and punching prowess. Much like the immortal Bruce Lee is synonymous with martial arts, Mike Tyson is easily synonymous with professional boxing. I thought about this particular scene from Rocky III, released in 1982, written and directed by Sylvester Stallone. Mickey is expressing the prowess and extreme punching power of Clubber Lang. When I first saw this scene, I thought about the fear that Mickey was stressing to Rocky. It made Mickey retire. So when you really think about Rocky's trainer, he's realizing that the danger of fighting a guy like Clubber Lang is something that his heart couldn't handle. And I don't want to do any spoilers, but it's a good movie to watch what happens to Mickey. Now, back to Mike Tyson. At the beginning of Mike's career, many of his early opponents retired after experiencing Iron Mike, and others thought twice about ever entering the ring again, for reasons of fear and just sheer respect and recognizing the power of Mike. Just to acknowledge, it got to the point where no one wanted to rival or go against Mike Tyson. Now, I want to talk briefly about my excitement for what's currently happening in Mike's life. For those who haven't kept up with Mike Tyson, he's getting back in the ring. Oh, you heard me right. He's definitely getting back in the ring. Here's footage of what he looks like training now. In my opinion, Mike has been and always will be iron, tactician, and psychological warrior in the ring. I wish both Roy Jones and Mike the best. I have love and respect for both fighters. This brings me to the end of this video. I had so much fun working on this, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video as well. I want to do more videos like this. This is where I need your input. Let me know in the comment section who you'd like to see me draw and talk about next. Also, what do you guys think about this Mike Tyson depiction? Was I on point, or was I just okay? Or do you think it was downright terrible? I'm okay with either opinion. This is all for your entertainment and fun and enjoyment. Until next time, be safe and take care.
Hey, do me a favor. Give this video a like and subscribe if you want to live.